going on, guys? I don't know if you can see me. Hopefully you can see me. I'm in shade. The sun's like really crazy. Here I am up in Peterborough testing this new, well, new to me, Redington Dually 2 in a 4-weight Spey model, 10.5 footer. Since all the creeks at home are full of salmon, you can't use it there clearly, and trying to catch a trout and not catch salmon, almost impossible. They're so full. So I can make the trek up here to test it on some bass. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get some, it's kind of cold up here this morning. I'm glad I wore long johns. And it's waders because it's fall. So colors are up here pretty good. So it looks like a nice view. So that's what's going on. That's where I am. Let's do it. Gonna fish my coffee, hit the creek. Look intense. Look crazy. It looks like snow, but it's blueing olives, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Thousands of them, millions of them. No trout in here. Just bass. I don't know if I can see them. I don't know if you can or not. There's more up in the sun. Let's go that way. So there's a little bit there, and then there's like 10 times much more here because there's the current or the wind coming underneath the bridge, pushing them all in one spot. It's pretty cool. Oh, they're dropping now. Good one. Well, since fishing's not good, I'm trying a new head. So I did the old, what was it? Did the Airflo Skagit in 270. Now I'm doing, so that's like the OPST way to think about it, a lighter head, even though they recommend 225, but I use the 270, a little more oomph. And now I'm using the traditional way. I'm using a 325. Yeah, it's kind of backwards, but it's an OPST head, 325, because I already had it for another rod. And I'm using the same leader tip, the flow tip, type 7, and a bigger fly actually. It's a Sex Dungeon mini one, number 4, sculpted olive. Cast better, rolls pretty good. Here it is. I got a fish on my new rod. It feels good in the current. This 4-weight. No idea how big it is yet. I'm trying to get on the reel here. Oh no. There we go. On the reel. Rod's bent in half. Pretty good. No idea how big it is. Feels enormous. Just changed over to scope and fly. New head. Moved downstream from where I was earlier. Deeper water, and here I am. Oh, it's a good one. Nice. Oh yeah. It's a pounder. Just don't give up in this current, eh? They don't give up at all. I'm spin them over here, I guess. Kind of at the mercy of this fish. This 4-weight. Good sized fish on a 4-weight. I'll take him. Just pull and drag a bit. Oh, yeah. Finally. Oh no! Gone. Now that I'm absolutely devastated. I found the fish, deeper hole, different fly. I don't know if it's a combination of the fly or the hole, or just I just happen to find a fish. But I got one. Woo! I lost it. Devastated. Absolutely just like guttered. Oh well. It's a rod in the tree because it came out and popped out in the tree. So rod didn't break, line didn't break, hook just popped out like a pound and a half, 2-pounder, smallie. A couple of jumps, I guess the hook kind of wiggled out. I only got one hook on that thing instead of two like you're supposed to. But anyways, better to hook them than lose them than never hook anything at all. So it's time for breakfast, and then I'm gonna keep my way down this downstream down here with some rocks and some shallow stuff, and trying to find the deep pockets. And clearly the fish are in deep water. But I did see some crayfish, so maybe they'll move up this afternoon. Anyways, I don't know, that's the quarter update. It's not really mid update. This morning started early, like 4 a.m. early, so it's like 11. So we're having some breakfast / lunch, brunch, and taking a break and trying to pick up my pieces of myself off the ground and get back in there and hopefully get another fish. So I'm in this new spot, way down from where I was. Found a big pool, kind of a back eddy, and I just lost a fish. Came about 3 feet out of the water, looked me in the eye, and spit the hook. So hopefully there's more than one. Maybe? I don't know. Let's see. We will see. Hopefully there's more than one. Alright, so I finally found some water deep enough to try my new Skagit Max Game Changer floating hover intermediate type 3 and a 350 grain on my 4-weight Spey rod. Everybody told me it might be a bit too heavy. Nobody really knew the answer to it. So I have it on a 10-foot poly leader, and I have just a black and purple leech with a bead on the front of it. So I'm not a giant fly by any means, but it's like 3 inches long. So let's get this head out. Oh, bloop, bloop. Pretty good. It's fucking out there pretty good. I mean, fold's going crazy. It's gonna take a little bit. It's not too heavy at all. This is awesome. Not sure how big of a fly I can put on it for killing the weight, or for this poly leader, but this little leech I got on here, articulated leech. Awesome. Let's get it in there. Pretty good cast. Not bad. Gets on there fast, eh? Crazy. Evenings, Spey Castle. Been here all day. Lost 2 fish. James is down there. Single hand Spey. I am using the 4-weight still. I love this thing. It's amazing. Alright guys, so that was a little bit of the micro Spey. I kind of got on the micro Spey bandwagon this year. It's been kind of one of my list of things to do. I don't do a whole lot of Spey, well I do I guess, but mostly switch rods, which is technically I guess the same thing, but not quite the same. So I picked up that new Redington Dually, the 2. Absolutely blast to fish it. I can chuck some big streamers. Well, not huge, but like, okay, first let me say this. Everybody told me that I couldn't throw a 3 or 4 inch fly on this rod. And everybody told me I couldn't throw a big line on this rod. And then everybody told me I couldn't throw big sink tips on this rod. Guess what? I threw it all. I threw giant flies, rabbit strip flies, and heavier line than it actually recommended for the rod. So the whole world of Spey. The problem is there's too many options. That's the problem I found. Going from single hand to double hand, there's too many options. Options are good, but it's crazy with the amount of options on the rod. So basically, you have to experiment to find out what you like and what weight the rod likes. Pretty much what it comes down to. So I'm gonna run through the lines I used, and then I'll show you some of the flies that it threw, and most of the tips were I talked about the tips in the video. I used the Mo tip, I used the T7, the Flow tip from Airflo, as well as the Mo tip from Rio. I don't think there's much difference in the actual sink tip. Yeah, so depending on which way you want to lean, you want to lead to the OPST kind of way of rigging up your rod, or you want to run the traditional way of what the rod recommends and put your head on, and then do a tip after that. Kind of in between. Most of the creeks I fish here, we don't have room for 12-foot tips, so all mine are 10. If you go with the OPST route, so they recommend a 225 grain line, and then the 12-foot tip to make up the 325 grain that would make that the rod recommends. So I kind of went somewhere in the middle. So I went to a 270 to make the difference up, and then I ran the 10-foot tip instead of 12-foot tip. So, but I didn't run the OPST line in 270. I ran this Airflo Scout in 270, which is the same idea, very similar in taper, and the length is pretty much almost identical. That line, I like that line. It's thinner, it's green, you can see it nice, fish don't really keep the care. I could throw a T11 on this line as well, and still not be overweighted. Like, the rod was flexing, but it wasn't hurting it at all. There's room for more, absolutely. So I picked up this line. I really like this line. I'm probably going to use it in the creek down here, just for resies and bass and smalls and stuff. And then the other line I used was actually the OPST Commando head in 325 grain. Now they recommend 225, just 325 grain. Like, I already had this for my 7-weight twitch rod. So, because this stuff's not cheap, right? So like, I'm trying to experiment, trying to find the best one. So I did what I had and bought a couple extra ones, and then went from there. So basically ran this 325 with basically a T7 for Airflo or T8 for Rio, depending which way you look at it. Like Dually Llamas, Sex Dungeon, number 4, 2 number 4s. That's kind of the deer head style. That with a medium dumbbell eye. Those are kind of the flies I was throwing with those things. So I threw it good. So I'm just gonna keep using it. It's this new Rio Skagit Game Changer in touch. So this is a new triple or quad density line, floating hover intermediate type 3. Now the only grain I could find was 350, and yes, it's heavier than what the rod recommends. The rod recommends 325 for Skagit and 270 for Scandi. So I bumped it up to 350. Really, if you do some calculation and stuff and add the right tip on it, you're still in the same ballpark. This rod did not buckle at this line. I was just afraid it was going to buckle, but in worst case scenario, I would just use it on my switch rod. But it didn't buckle. I really like this line. It casted amazing. It's a bit longer. It's in that 22 feet? I forget how long it is. 23 feet. It's longer than the other ones, so probably not ideal for the tributaries I fish down here for where I am, but definitely when you go up north to the rivers up in Kawarthas, I got room to cast this thing, and I got a back room, and I don't have to worry about it. You can just walk in the water, knee deep, waist deep, whatever, and this thing will just send it. So absolutely like this line. I wish they had made it a different letter grain, but they don't yet, so I'm gonna keep rocking it, see how it goes, and then if I have to rock it on another rod, I'm gonna. But so far, cast amazing. I got a new tip for it this week, so I'm gonna do some more testing with that sink tip because winter's coming soon. So I'm gonna have to fish deeper. Hopefully get some walleye on it. That's the plan. That's kind of what I got it for. In case the steelhead this year don't show up, so I'm gonna fish for walleye in between the salmon and the steelhead run before they close. So that's kind of what I did with this rod, Spey, micro Spey rod, swinging for smallmouth, and I lost 2 fish. It's whatever. New rods and testing it out. I just really wanted to experiment with this whole Spey thing, and there's so many This guy said this, and this guy said this, and this manufacturer said this. It really comes down to, it's their opinion. What it comes down to, buy a line, buy two lines, buy two lines from different manufacturers, and try them. Like, I know they're not cheap. Like, some of these are $50, some of them are $75, depending on what one you go with. Try and find them used if you can. Try and find them on clearance. That also helps as well if you want to do some line testing. I'm not sure I'm done line testing yet. I kind of want to get a couple more. So I was throwing this hot orange tiger Dalai Lama, right? And this mini dungeon. This is what actually I caught my fish on. This is like a 3-inch fly or 4-inch fly, but it's deer hair, marabou, yeah, maybe 3 or 4-inch fly, which is awesome for like small bass and all that. This one was actually, believe it or not, a little bit heavier than this one, only because it's rabbit, but it's like 2 pieces of rabbit and then palmered rabbit. So I threw it like crazy, no problem. You can do it. It's doable. So experiment, have fun, try it onto lines. Yeah, that's all. That's all it is. All those space stuff and stuff. The options are awesome, but it comes down to basically just trial and error. Pick one, try it. You don't like it, grab another one. Try a friend's line, borrow a friend's line, try his line. Like, a buddy of mine has his lines. I tried a couple of them. His some I like better, some I didn't like. Didn't. You just gotta find that sweet spot. Whatever one the rod likes, and when you find the one the rod likes, you'll know it's in the cast. It'll be easy. You'll just know. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that button, would you? Yeah, hit subscribe, hit like, whatever, something. All this stuff helps me out, makes me do other trips. I'm hoping to do quite a bit of fishing here at the end of the month, which would be prime time for walleye, prime time hopefully for steelers if they show up, and we might get out for some muskie as well on the fly. But we'll see how it goes. Depends on water. Muskie, I'm not sure how my arm is yet. I'm still not 100%. Like 90% of my mobility. Tying flies is a struggle sometimes, but I'm not sure how casting will be. But anyways, I was after the other day casting all day and stripping because there was fishing streamers. My arm was pretty sore. So I don't know if I'm muskie ready yet, but I'm definitely gonna do some bass and walleye. Thanks for watching. I'm Toast Chasers. I'm in.